Good morning, everyone. Hope we're doing well today. And welcome to everyone who's on our live stream. This is the lovely Laura Salzman from CoreLogic, and she is going to share some important information with you about Matrix. If you are using Matrix as your front-end of choice, how many of you are? Anyone not using it currently but considering? Okay, great. Now, for this session, we will not have access to it, so you would have to take notes. Or you can sign up and have it as your second. Yeah, you can do that too. So, just a couple of housekeeping things. We are going to go till noon, but I'm imagining we're going to take a break at some point for a few minutes to stretch legs and such. If you have not connected to the internet, the Wi-Fi is the public wireless. And the password is realtors, all lowercase and plural. I'll ask that you keep cell phones silent and just enjoy the study.
Okay, thank you, Lynn. All right, well, thank you. I'm so glad to be here today. I'm excited to kind of talk to you about Matrix. So we're just gonna go ahead and dive in really quick. You're here because you're interested in getting started with Matrix. Just a little bit about myself. My name is Laura Salzman. As Lynn said, I live in Texas. I'm also a licensed real estate agent, but no longer in active production. And the further away I get from active production, the less I miss it. So I don't envy your old jobs right now. But I come to you with a real estate background, a teaching background, I'm a mom of 3 kids, and a sweet little dog that gets all the attention in our life. Before we get started talking about Matrix, I just kind of want to remind you what Matrix is, where it fits in the CoreLogic bubble. You probably hear a lot of different names, but I feel like we have a lot of different brands that we talk about. But at the epicenter is CoreLogic. That's who we are. And we have different products to help you do your job. Matrix is our big one. That's the MLS, that's the data, that's where everything goes. A couple other ones that you're probably familiar with that you get when you choose Matrix as your primary choice are One Home, which is the client portal, MLS Touch, and a Realist. And we'll just kind of go through real quickly what each of these are. As I said, Matrix is your MLS platform. This is where you're going to come to do your searches. Here at Triangle, all of your listings go into a different spot. And when you're ready to search for your client, you're going to come to Matrix. One Home is the client portal. So everything that you send from Matrix to your clients, they receive it in the One Home client portal. And then we have our MLS Touch app. This is what you would use when you're out on the go. You can kind of think of it as Matrix in the palm of your hand. And then our last little product that we have available is Realist. This is public records, insights, different information like that. So I just like to kind of remind everybody what is out there, but today we're going to spend the bulk of our time talking about Matrix and how to get started in it. So I'm going to go through a couple of slides with you, and then we're going to just dive in and get to work. So the first thing I want to remind you is Matrix is made up, the first when you log in, we have a dashboard. On our dashboard, the first thing you're going to see is the navigation menu, the speed bar, and a lot of different widgets that we have. On the navigation menu, the 3 tabs that you're going to use the most are the My Matrix tab. I always think of this as the Find It button. If you've created something, if you're looking for something, you've made a CMA, you have searches saved, where are you going to go find it? Where you're going to go to that My Matrix button. Anything that you've kind of customized that you've made your own, it's going to be under that My Matrix tab. The next tab that you're going to use a lot is the search tab. In fact, this afternoon, we're going to spend all of our time just talking about searches. So this is where you're going to do your work. This is what you come to Matrix for, to search for real estate. So that's what's going to be done under that search tab. And then the last tab that you're going to use is the stats tab. And I always think of that as the Know It tab. This is where I'm coming when I'm going to look here when I'm researching, when I need to find out. I always think like statistical information about real estate. I'm going to go to the stats tab and start doing my search there. So those are the 3 big tabs that you're going to use a lot. The next thing on our dashboard, you're going to see it kind of in the middle is the speed bar. And you see how there's a little circle with a question mark and it says read this? That's my best advice to you, is spend time to read it. I think that explains it a lot better than I'm gonna be able to explain it to you. You're gonna be able to read it and then you can get in here and play with it. But think of the speed bar as just a simple place where you can write a code to get searches. And we'll talk about it a little bit more, but I just wanted to point that out briefly and that little question mark, because that tab, when you open that up, it has so much information right before you. And then the rest of the dashboard is made up of widgets. All of these widgets have a different job. You can move them around, so you can create the workflow that you want, position them where you like them. If there's a widget that you don't use, you can minimize it. Nothing ever really goes away, so you can't accidentally throw something away. It can always be brought back. But the dashboard is designed for you to come in, do what you need to do, and move on. All right, any questions about what we've seen so far? There you go. Okay. So the first big thing that I want to do is personal branding. And I'm gonna do it with my slideshows, but I want you, if you want to follow along, feel free to follow along as I'm talking about this. So when you first come into Matrix, go ahead and get your branding set up. You don't have to do it again. And where you're gonna do that, you're gonna go to your upper right-hand corner and look for your name. I gotta put my glasses on now. Now everything got blurry on the screen. You're gonna look for your name and you're looking for settings. You're gonna scroll, click on settings, and that's gonna take you to our settings page. And you can kind of see this is what our settings page looks like. You're looking for the tab that says My Information. When you click on that, you're gonna come to the information page first. This is the place where you want to start, because all the other pages will feed the information off of this page. So you're gonna enter your name, your phone number, your email, whatever information you want to add, this is where you're gonna add. Now, if you notice, my name is in gray and I can't change it. However, if I look all the way over to the right, there's an override button. I can click that override button and that will allow me to change my name. That comes into play sometimes if you have a formal name and you go by a nickname. That's when you might want to change it. So my best advice is to fill this page out first, look for spelling and look for correctness. When you're done with that, you're going to go to the next page, which is our header and footer tab. Now, in Matrix, you do have the ability to print things. That's where the header and footer are going to show up the most. Honestly, the last few years that I was in real estate, I printed very little, so I didn't see a lot of this header and footer information, but I do think it's nice to go ahead and set it up. When you're working with the header and footer, you have the option of using our preloads, or you can upload your own banner. And then you're just going to kind of work your way through, choosing your photo, choosing which information you want to use. So you can see here, this is where you're going to choose your information. When you click on those down arrows, it's going to let you pull the information that you had typed in on the information tab. The order of these branding lines correlates to the order that it's going to show up in the head. So whatever you want first, you're going to choose first on branding. Whatever you want second, you're going to choose second. And it's just going to give you your choices. And then you just keep scrolling on down, and then you're going to do the same with the footer. A couple of just tidbits to know: if you do want to make your own custom banner, click on the upload custom banner. That's where you can bring it in. If you're familiar with Canva, it's very easy to create one in Canva and then over later or wherever you want to create. But this just gives you the ability to create your own custom banner. The next tab is your CMA cover sheet. Again, probably not a product that you're going to use a ton of, but it's nice to go ahead and set it up while you're doing everything else. You're going to go through the same process that you've done with the other pages. You can change your photo if you want. You're going to check your name. You're going to check your information. And now if I'd had information already filled in on page 1, you would see it here, but I didn't. Anytime you see an override button, you can override it to change it. Then the next tab is your email signature. You're gonna see this one more, because it's gonna be at the bottom of every single one of the emails that you send out. This is not a super fancy email signature maker. You can see, what little tools we have here, but it gets the job done. You can put your name, your headshot. If, you're required to include anything in your signatures, in Texas, we were required to include a couple other things, so you want to make sure whatever is required by your broker, by your state, that you put in your signature. And then, once that's done, it's one and done, you don't have to do it again. And then the last page that you want to go ahead and set up is the branding for One Home. Remember, One Home is what your clients are going to see. So this is where you can add a little bit more. You can add your social media channels. Please make sure these are your business social media, not personal. And you can also, there's room to leave a message. This is, we call it content. It's just whatever you want to let your buyers know about. You can introduce yourself. You can talk about the home buying process. Whatever information that you think is pertinent, you can display in this area. And you can include a link to a video. You will need to have the video housed on YouTube or Vimeo, and then you're just going to copy and paste that link and put it into Matrix. How many of you have a YouTube page with videos on it? Well, that's what you need to do. Video is, you know, it's what can set you apart. I didn't have one either, and you can use any YouTube video. Just make sure it's applicable to what you're posting. All right. So the next thing I want to make sure that you set up from the beginning is portal notification settings. I honestly think this is more important than your branding, but to get to portal notifications, you're going to go through that same process of getting to the settings page. When we get to the settings page, we click our name in the upper right-hand corner. We look for settings and it brings us to the setting page. This time we're looking for portal notifications. When you click on portal notifications, it's going to take you to a page where you will see a list of behaviors that your clients can do. These are all the different things that your clients are doing within One Home. And how do you want to know about it? That's the question that you're answering here. If my client visits a portal, do I want to know immediately? Do I want to know with an email at the end of the day? Or am I okay at just showing up on my timeline, which is something that I can check on my dashboard? You know, you get to choose. More than likely, it's going to be fine just to have it on your dashboard. However, if your client leaves you a note, that means they're trying to tell you something. I would think you probably want to know about that a little bit ahead of time, not just whenever you log in and look at Matrix. So you may want to get an email ASAP or a text ASAP. So you can choose those boxes. So you get to choose. You're the agent. You get to decide what you want to know and when you want to know it. The reason why I think this is so important is I was the real estate agent that didn't know about this page. I didn't know I could notify myself. And I was the one who would log in every day to see if my clients left me a note in Matrix. Because near the end of my practice, I did actually have say my millennial clients who they didn't want to talk to me. They just wanted to do everything via texting or through the system. So I would go in there and I would check. And I was talking to a CoreLogic employee later, and he was just like, oh, you just need to set it up on portal notifications. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't even know what you're talking about. And he told me, and then I was mad because I was just like, all this time I've wasted going to check. So that's why I know it's a silly thing to be passionate about, but I want you to know that you can do this so that you never worry about missing out on communicating with clients. So make sure you set that up from the very beginning. Now, if you do choose texting, you will need to go through this process of entering your phone number, doing the code and all that kind of stuff, but it walks you through it. Okay, we're going to go ahead now and pop over to our live show. We're going to go ahead and pop over to the dashboard. Those were the main things that I wanted to talk to you with my slides. So we're here today because we're talking about Matrix and helping you get started in Matrix. Now, this is what you see after you log in. Does anybody have any questions about the login process? What's the first page you're supposed to go to when you log in? Like from your MLS. And it starts with a my. Wait, wait, nope, my triangle, my dot triangle dot, I forget.
It's my dot triangle MLS .com.
There we go.
My.trianglemls.com. That takes you to the MLS dashboard where you sign in once. And then you just click on your things from there.
There you go.
And for those on the live stream,
Yeah.
that's my.trianglemls.com.
Okay. So when you click on matrix, it's not letting you. Okay, all right, so we'll come take a peek at it. If you're having issues getting logged in, raise your hand so Lynn can see and she'll come take a peek with it. I'm gonna go ahead and just keep going through for those that are logged in. Once you're logged in and you're to the matrix dashboard, this is what it looks like. So real briefly, just to go over what we talked about with the slides, you can see here is your navigation bar, here is the shortcut bar, here are all the widgets, and how I talked about how you can move them, just drag it and drop is what I mean by moving. And then to get to that settings page, you go to your name, hover over your name, click down to settings. Oops, there we go, and here is the settings page. The two tabs we talked about were the My Information tab and the Portal Notification tab. Okay, so we talked about, so let's just go ahead and any questions about any of the branding? I know I went through it kind of quick on the screen with the slides, but any questions about entering your information, header and footer, any of the stuff that we talked about here? Now's your time to ask questions if you have them here. Did it all kind of make sense? Pretty clear.
It makes sense. This is the most well-organized interface I've ever seen.
No,
I have with Paragon and Flex, and I used to work with them because I live in Eastern Carolina. And looking at this, I'm like, oh my gosh, all the stuff that I need to do for my lessons and everything else, it's all right here.
well, good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad that you like it.
Because it's just so many platforms that you're not in.
Okay.
Yeah, such a platform.
And I don't know anything about.
Okay.
Okay, so again, this is where you do it, when you, if you, just want to make sure everybody was kind of clear on that. Okay, and then let's go ahead and go back to the dashboard, and let's talk a little bit about the widgets, just so you kind of know what they do and what you can expect from them. Now, in the upper left-hand corner, you're always going to have your news and alerts widget. That is there so that your MLS, if they send you news, it's going to show up in that little box. It cannot be moved. It's the only one that just stays there. This external links widget, and yours may look different than mine just because we can move them around. Well, how I just kind of randomly do it. External links are any of the products provided to you from your MLS. So there's a lot of stuff here that you can click on and it's going to take you to it. If you don't like seeing something because it takes up a lot of room and you know you don't use it on a daily basis, you may want to just minimize it. You can minimize any widget by hitting the little up arrow and you still have the bar, the title of it, but the information is hidden. If you ever want to do that, you're going to hover over it and click it to open it up. The other thing that can happen sometimes is you could accidentally hit this X and it completely goes away. Now, external, yeah, okay. I did that one time on my search widget and I did not realize I had done it. And I was like, they took it away from me. They, the big man, took away my search box. And I was so upset and I was so mad and I was so frustrated. And another agent next to me was just like, hold the phone, sister, calm down, because you know, I thought somebody had stolen it from me. If you accidentally X something, you want to look for additional. Anytime you X anything, it goes down here under additional. You simply hover over it, drag, and drop it back out. So it's a great tool if there's a widget that you don't want to use all the time, X out of it. It's a terrible tool, but you do it on accident and it disappears from you. So anytime you think it's disappeared, check under additional and you just can drag and drop them back out. And I'm gonna go ahead and just open all of these up. Well, I'm not gonna record the webinar, so that doesn't have any information. And then, okay, so let's go ahead and walk through some of those. And I'm not gonna talk about every single widget, but I'm gonna talk about the ones that I feel are the most important for you. Right here, smack dab in the middle, welcome to Matrix, the Learning Lab. This is for education. If you get stuck, if you need a little bit of help, click on this. It's gonna take you to our Learning Lab, which has videos on the different products that you can watch. Again, I'm gonna tell you everything I did wrong as an agent, so hopefully that you can learn from my mistakes. When my MLS switched over and we had the Learning Lab, I honestly thought they put that widget there to look pretty. I didn't know that I could click on it and there was valuable information. So I like to tell everybody, if you need a little bit of extra training, that is your friend right here, the Learning Lab. Another widget that you're gonna use a lot is your recent one home visitors. I don't have any recent ones right now, but if any of your clients are in one home and making searches or saving favorites, you're gonna be alerted into this widget. It's gonna have their name on there and tell you what they've done. So that's a great widget. I like to keep it up at the top. And anytime that you create a favorite search, you can display up to 10 of those in your widget. Favorite searches are great. If you, as an agent, have searches that you like to keep an eye on, but maybe they're not connected to a client, or maybe they are connected to a client, but you don't want to have to go through the process every time of creating that search. You can save it as a favorite search, and it's here on your dashboard. A couple of examples I put, when I was in practice, I did a lot with specific neighborhoods or specific feeder patterns for high schools. So those were the type of favorite searches that I would make. You can make whatever favorite search you want, and you can just house it right here. Another great tool we have is the Market Watch. It's customizable, so you can create it be the market that you want. Mine is set up for the entire MLS. So I can look today and see that in the last, and you can see here in the right corner of that widget, I have 24 hours. In the last 24 hours, I can see there's 117 new listings. Well, let's say I want to know what happened all week. So I'm going to change that to 7 days. Wow, you guys have had over 1,000 new listings this week. And again, this is for residential and it's for the entire MLS. Well, let's pretend that where I worked, I was in Dallas, Fort Worth, a huge metroplex. I honestly did keep mine set for the entire metroplex because I like to see the entire feed. But let's say that I wanted to whittle it down. Well, now there's almost 6, but there are 4 big counties in DFW that make up our market. How many counties do y'all have here for your MLS? There's like multiple counties, right, that make up your MLS. Okay, so you may not want to know what's going on in every county in your market. Let's say that you work in one city and that's all you want to see. Well, you're going to come to customize and click on that customize button. And you're going to be able to customize your market. You're going to go through the same process you would if you were doing a search, but you're customizing your market. So let's say that your market is just the city of Cary. And that's all you want. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to save it. And so now, when I come back to that, now you can see I only have 20 new listings. That's because this week in the city of Cary, there have been 25 new listings. Let's see how many just in the last 24 hours. There's been more. So this Market Watch is designed to make a quick snapshot of what your market is. You get to customize your market. You'll know that you have a custom market set when you see the reset button. Anytime you see reset, that's like letting you know, hey, you've got some customization going on. If you want to reset it back to neutral, so to speak, or back to the beginning, just hit reset. Now I'm back to the entire MLS. So again, under Market Watch, if you want to customize this, just hit your customize button. Use the search fields to create whatever you want for your market area. And then hit save. So maybe you want 2 cities. We'll do Cary and Raleigh. Oh, let's add a check. We'll do 2. And, but I only want houses with basements. I have a thing for basements because we don't have them in Texas. Now granted, you are not gonna want that for your market area, but I just want to show you how easy you can set it to be whatever you want. So now we can see in those 3 cities in the last 24 hours, 5 new listings. So I love this tool just because it's a bar graph is what it is. You can come in, you can see it easy. One of my favorite things to watch back in the craziness of like 22, 21, we never had price decreases. And as the market started shifting, that was the line that started getting longer. You know, it was interesting as you could almost see the market shifting as these lines started changing what they were doing. Anyway, any questions about the Market Watch widget? Yes, sir.
So if you click on, I don't know, one of the categories, blue, does that bring up all of the
Yes.
things that? Wow.
So I clicked on, yes, so if the question was, if you click on any of these, am I gonna see what's listed? Yes, as long as there's something there. So we have 5 new listings. I'm gonna click on new listings and it's gonna take me directly to those 5 new listings. And then you can look at the listings, you can sort them, you can do whatever you want with those listings. So it is a great way to come in here. Let's say you want to check out what has sold. So we have 8 sold, and then you can explore them. Any other questions about Market Watch? Okay, a couple other tabs that I want to point out. Concierge. If you don't see a concierge widget, don't be surprised. You only have concierge pop up if you put a client in concierge mode, which we will talk about. How many of you know what concierge mode is? Okay, that's a good thing. That's another thing that we're really passionate about because a lot of you don't know what it is, so I like to make sure that you know about it. So I wanted to point out the widget first so that you can see it does show up on your dashboard. It shows up on your dashboard because it's telling you, hey, real estate agent, you've got concierge clients you need to take care of. It's not there if you don't have any clients there. Just real brief snippet, concierge mode is a way that you can send auto searches to your clients where you preview the listings before you send them out. That's what it's designed for, but we'll talk about that later. A couple other my favorite widgets, the search widget, I'm gonna move it to the top. This is what you can use to come in and just do a quick search. How many times have we had that client send us a text from another portal with a listing on it and says, hey, what do you know about this address? Or, you know, what do you know about this listing? You can come in here super quick, type the name, type whatever information you know about it. Or you get someone that calls you for a listing appointment. Hey, I want to list my house. Here's my address. You could instantly come in here and start searching that address without having to go through the next set of search. It's just a quick search button. And then really, those are the main widgets that I think that you're going to use on our dashboard. Oh, hot sheets. Some of you will love hot sheets. Hot sheets are another way to keep an eye on the market. When I click on residential, what this is going to do is this is going to pull up any kind of residential change. So residential listing, any kind of change that's happened in the system since the last time I looked at it. So what I mean by that is here are all the residentials. We can see that some have been canceled. We see the new listings. There's a lot of them on here. It's by each property type. We have one for vacant land. Same thing, any kind of change. So we have a cancel, we have a new listing, we have a back on the market, we have a price decrease. So it's telling you what the change has happened. You can customize these as well. You can see timeframes. I'm going to click on new only. We've already hit residential before, right? So let's see if anything has changed since the last time. No, there's been no changes since the last time I looked at residential. So hot sheets are a great way to see what has changed in the market. Yes, sir.
Do you really mean since the last time you clicked on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 minutes ago.
Yes, so and it's
That's
because, yeah, and that's because I selected this button in the right, so we have a time frame. So maybe this session, let's say that I've been here working in Matrix, you know, for an hour or whatever, has anything changed during my session? No,
If I click on that, I know this is stuff I haven't seen.
correct,
Oh, that's fantastic.
correct. Well, it may be stuff you've seen before, it means that the property has had a change of some sort.
Since I looked at that.
Yeah, it could be right, it could be a price drop, it could be whatever the change is, but yes, you get us. And you can also come in and customize, you can add more hot sheets. Let's say that you want to make a hot sheet for a particular neighborhood or whatever you feel the need to, you can come in and make your own. Any questions about hot sheets?
Yes.
Yes,
How do you set up a hot sheet? Because I tried setting it up to look for areas that I want to focus on.
okay,
And I thought I could do a search and then say there's a hot sheet, but it
okay.
doesn't work that way.
So, right, so the ones that are here are already like made to go, you know, like these are what are here.
Right.
And then so like for customize. And full disclosure, I never worked with hot sheets a whole lot. And so sometimes I forget, I gotta walk myself through it, like, okay, I gotta remember how we're gonna do it. Let's say I want to do a residential one, so I'm gonna add it. We're gonna do. Okay, so now I have a new hot sheet.
So basically, you're supposed to set it up within a hot sheet, like you edit the criteria.
And then when you come in here, this is the part where I gotta remember how we do it. Is you go to your, well. Okay. You're the second one to ask me a question today that I need to follow up on. Let me double check with my team on exactly how you can customize it at this point. Because I'm not sure if you can customize the exact details versus you can customize the residential area. So we will follow up on that before the end of the day, because I want to make sure we give you the correct answer on that. Okay? All right. Any other questions about these? Kind of keep in mind, like I said, the widgets are here to help you find things, do it a little bit quicker and move on. Let's go ahead and now look at the navigation bar. I want to talk about everything that we have up here. We kind of briefly talked about it. Under my matrix, these are the things that you're going to see. My dashboard is always going to take you back to your dashboard. I always like to have a reset. Like there's something about the way my brain works. If I get lost in the system, if I can go back to the beginning, I can figure out what to do next. So for me, that's the dashboard button. The second tab you see are contacts. When you're working with contacts in Matrix, there are several different ways that you can import contacts into your system. The first and old school kind of way is to add them one by one. To do that, you would come in and hit add, and you would fill out all the information that you wanted to include, and then hit save. There are 3 pieces of information that are required for Matrix: a first name, a last name, and an email address. Everything else is optional. So if you try to enter with just a first name, last name, and a phone number, it's not going to work. You do have to have an email address. The second way to load contacts into Matrix would be to import them. If you're already working with another CRM or another platform and you want to bring your contacts over, but most platforms are going to have a way for you to download that information. So you would download it from your other platform, your other CRM, wherever you have it, into a CSV file, and then you can load it into Matrix. So what you would need to do first is get our CSV file. So you want to, excuse me. Here it is. The download CSV file template. You would download that template first. And it's going to come up in Outlook or whatever your, not Outlook, but Excel, thank you. And here you can see the order that it has in the names. You can make them bigger. You're gonna input your information here. Isn't this easy peasy? Yes, for people who love spreadsheets. For people who hate spreadsheets, it's a pain. I'd rather like clean a house or something than do this. But it's easier than doing it one at a time, especially if you have a mass number of contacts. So it's all about putting that information on that spreadsheet. Once it's to your liking, then you're going to import it by choosing your file and importing it into Matrix. Okay, so the first way, you can add them one at a time. Second way, you can import them. The third way is to use MLS Touch, our app. So if you have a lot of contacts on your phone already, you can go to the app on your phone and just download your contacts that are on your phone, put them in your app. The app syncs to Matrix, they're gonna be. So that's a third way that you can put contacts into Matrix, is using the app, especially if you already have contacts on your phone. So those are the three easiest ways to get your contacts into Matrix. Let's just go ahead and look really quick at a contact card so you can see what's included with a contact. This is Rosie June. You've seen the picture of Rosie June before. She's my dog. She loves real estate, and I like to use her because she's a fun little thing to talk about. But when you see a contact card, the first thing you're going to see, these are all the different tabs within a contact. These are the different things of information that you can see. First page is details. What you are seeing is I went in when I added her. Let me go back to the ad, just so you can see. Whenever you add a contact, the only information that it will display is information that you include. So if you leave one of these tabs blank, it's not going to show up in the contact card. However, for Rosie June, so I'm going to flip back to get to hers. What I did so that you could see it is I just repeated the name. So you can see how big that section could be. You don't have to include all that information, but it will only show the information that you type in. The next section of the contact is this essentials review. It shows you what questions have been answered. If Rosie June has made any favorites, you're going to be able to see that she has. If you click on anything blue, it will then take you to those results. So you can instantly see what are her favorites, when were they emailed, all of that kind of information. And then any kind of note that she has sent you through OneHome, you can access it here as well.
Where it says pre-approved, is it just yes or no, or can you put somewhere who they're pre-approved with?
So that section is right here. So we're back to, I'm gonna edit her information. It is just a toggle. So that's all that is right there. Above that, I want to go ahead and category. You can go ahead and categorize your contacts as well. The contacts in Matrix, I would not say are like a CRM. You know, a lot of us are going to have our CRM and we have all of our sphere, everything in there. When you're looking in Matrix, you tend to have people that you're actually working on transactions with or have worked with or hoping to work with because you're sending them listings. So it's not like this full CRM where you're having to create all of these different tags and contacts, but you do have the ability to add some categories, which I think is helpful when you want to go in and search later in Matrix. You can also add new new categories. You can have up to, is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 12 contacts. I don't see people use this a lot, but I do think it's a nice little tool. But back to the mortgage, it's just toggling yes or no. And reverse prospecting. Do you know what reverse prospecting is? So reverse prospecting, if you toggle that on to yes, what you're saying is your client is available for reverse prospecting. It's very helpful for listing agents. Listing agents can come in and see, are there clients in the system that could be a good buyer for my listing? And so if that is true and you have tagged your buyer as a reverse prospecting, that agent can reach out to you and say, hey, I see you have a buyer that matches my listing. I'm having an open house, bring them by. The listing agent can't see who your buyer is. I mean, that's not happening. They just see that they can connect to you, that agent. So it's a great tool to use. It's also a great tool as a listing agent. You can say, hey, there are 55 people in the system who could be potential clients based on their property.
I heard what you said, I don't quite get it. So if you click on reverse prospecting, then it goes to, it looks at the MLS data and it finds out agents that are looking for a home similar to that.
Right, and it only shows up for listing agent. Now, here's what I don't know too, is since your listing input goes into a different location, if it still works the same.
You're actually.
And that I would need to check on too. But it would be, like, when you're looking at your listing, we have what we call hit counters, where you can see how many people have looked at your listing. Do y'all have that ability in your listing thing? I'm sure it does connect.
Yeah, no, that does mix, but if you think about it, it's looking to whomever has set up a buyer client with a search. And so it's only looking to those from Matrix, not from the other two systems.
Okay.
Just kind of keep that.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Um,
Is there any way to move your contacts?
The easiest way to move your contact from Paragon to Matrix would be to download your contacts from Paragon to that, to the CSV file, and then put them on the Matrix one and then move them back in. That's the easiest way. Actually, I think that's the only way.
Let me make sure I understand something you said. I have a challenge with having so many people that I've contacted that I'm not actively working with, and my database ends up being just stuff.
Mhm.
What you said is, in here, it's not a full-blown CRM, so only into the contact that you're actively working with here.
I think that's a personal choice, but the question, yes, and the question was, right, how do we sort out if we got CRM, we have a lot of clients in there. I did my business where in Matrix, the only people I had in Matrix were people I actively worked with, all past clients, because I had to actively work with them, and any kind of prospecting, any kind of client that raised their hand and said, either they had, if they had signed a buyer agreement, yes, they were in there. It's all changing since I've been out in real estate, but if I had people set up on searches, they were in there. I did not come in and dump my entire database. Yeah, because you can't actively reach out to them, because not everybody's gonna want this kind of information, but if you're CRM, they may want other pertinent information to share.
These are the people that you're gonna give access to one home to everything else. So
Right.
they have everything they do comes back to you.
Right.
Okay.
And again, this is your personal, choice. You get to run your business the way you want to do this. Okay, so going on down to the contact. Yes, ma'am.
If I don't have exact, like, how can I get these information
If you don't have, the ability to get into Paragon, how do you get your contacts? That is a great question. I don't know. Would you all know how to answer that question?
There was a 30-day period that we were giving you access to Paragon and the random choice if that was different from Paragon, so that you could do that, but I believe that that period has expired. Yes.
No, because I get my option, the last day, the chance to show any.
And then 30 days after that, you have access to both.
I can see that I hope for fire to get it.
Yeah, if you're trying to switch over to Matrix, you can actually go back into the subscription, Triangle MLS subscription pane, turn back on Paragon. It'll turn off Matrix. But then you can go and export your contacts. Take about 15 minutes for it to sync when you change your subscription. But once you export your contacts, you can go turn it back off, subscribe back to Matrix. You can only just have one, but you can actually switch them at any time.
I can track that, and it in my, I'm gonna search where I can see all the items available, I know how to find.
Right, you have to go back into your Triangle on the subscription and turn Paragon back on.
Okay, so again, next to the contact card, the other information that you can do with each contact. You can, under auto email, that's going to show you every auto email you have set up for a client. Those are going to be searches that automatically send updated information. So you can see Rosie James has a lot of auto emails. To get more information, you can click on that auto email, and it's going to give you the last time it was run, it's going to give you the information that you see here. It's going to show you the criteria that is established with that auto email. Anytime in Matrix that you see blue, you can click on that and it's going to take you to more information. So there's those 14 listings and that have been selected. Again, contacts is just a great way to, this is where all this is stored. This is where you can get to it. And you can update it, you can open it in one home, which is you can see what they see. All of that is under the auto email tab. The next tab you see are cards. Oh, cards is something I forgot to show you on the dashboard. Cards are a great tool. I like to think of cards as like a minimal folder. You know, you like have a folder full of information you want to save in some place. That's kind of how I use cards. Cards are a place where you can save listings that you're not saving the criteria, you're just saving that particular listing. So if I were an active agent now, I would have a showing card for every single one of my clients. Every time I took them to a house, I would throw that listing in that showing card. It's a great way to keep a record of every house that you've shown the client. It's a wonderful way to come back in and see it. If they, 3 weeks later, hey, I think that house is 1, 2, 3 minutes away. Can I go see it? Do you pop in here? Do I go service? Love cards. But anytime that you make a card and connect it to a contact, they're going to be housed right here. Any CMA that you create for a contact is going to be housed here. Any email that you have to send them, the system is going to keep a record of. Now, these are emails sent through Matrix. These are not your emails for your Gmail account or your other emails. These are just Matrix emails. So you can come in and see, here's what has been sent. Searches are any saved search you make in your client. 2 different types of searches, saved searches, auto searches. The auto ones are the ones that come with updated information. Saved search is just a one-time deal. It saves the criteria. If you were to click on it, it's going to give you current results, but it does not send you an email with updated results when things change. It's just a saved search.
And these things are all indexed to the client specifically.
Correct.
That contact,
Correct.
which seems to not be pretty well.
Correct. So yeah, so I'm looking just at Rosie and stuff. One home search, this is one of my favorites. When your client is working in one home and they've created their account and they create searches in one home, you see the searches that they do. So as long as they save their search in one home, you can see it too. Great way to use this when you're going on listing appointments and your client's going to be selling, go ahead and get them set up in one home. I would always set them up with competition homes. Basically, if we go on the market today, these are the houses they're competing with. If I would send them as a search, I would tell them, go view it in your one home, blah, blah, blah. They would, and then I would say, well, you're in one home, let's go ahead and start searching for your new home. They would set up a search in one home. I could see how they started, and then when we got more formal, I would set up the search and the for them. And they're gonna go and search for real estate with or without you on any kind of portal. This is why we want one home to be used, so it connects it to you. So you see what they're gonna do. Yes, ma'am.
So if they set up the one home search, you set up the search in Matrix, then does that mean they're receiving double emails of notification?
That's the other thing about one home. For your client, one home is one location for them. Yes, if you send them a Matrix search, they are going to get an email from you that says, hey, I've set the search up for you. Here it is. And they can click on that link and it will take them to one home. When they get to one home, they will see, here are the searches from my real estate agent. Here are the searches that I do myself. Here are saved listings that my agents sent me. And it's all in the location. So they won't get an email from one home saying, hey, you made your own search. That only email will come from you. And that's what I love. Because the other thing is, once they have activated their account in one home and have a password, they never have to open that email. Again. They could just go to onehome.com and get that same information. Yes, sir.
When you run these searches, you're gonna search on the MLS database you are a member of, correct?
Correct.
So if you're, well, regional or, I don't know, Triangle MLS, it's not gonna search like the Flex MLS database advertising. right?
So when you are searching matrix, you're searching triangle MLS.
Gotcha.
So if you're on Flex searching, it's the same listings that you're looking through,
Right.
you're viewing it through the matrix form.
What will pop up are listings that were listed on the Triangle MLS.
Correct. Because you're a member of triangle MLS. Yeah. Now, if you were saying you were a member of Triad also,
Yes,
you would have to log in a different way into matrix. You're not going to see the same.
you can aggregate.
I mean, I don't know what it's, yeah. Okay, and then obviously on all these, you can click on to, you want to see the criteria, you want to see the information. And then the last tab is the super prospect. This is where we talk about, if you click that toggle, if your client matches anything, you're also going to be able to see it here in your contact. And as Lynn said, this is more a matrix view, so it's not going to work as well with the other. If they have higher clients set up in Paragon and Flex, you're not going to see it. All right, so that's,
If I'm a listing agent and I want to see like any other agents have set up any reverse prospecting, where can I go?
okay, so the way it normally works in matrix and fill me in, because you guys are so unique here, I love the way your system is set up, because your listings go into a different way. Normally what you would see in matrix is my listings, you would go to your listing and it would have an option for you to see it there. How that works with your system today, I'm not exactly sure because of the way that your listings are coming to the system. So for instance, Beth, do you have your active listings right now?
Yes.
Okay, so do you see where it says under my matrix, you go to my listings? Do you have anything in there? And so the way I got to that was my matrix, I scroll down to my listings.
Yeah, clicking.
And that's the part where I don't know that this part of matrix is talking to your listing manager because of the way your system.
It's showing up it's showing up like 3 listings of mine. Yeah.
Okay, so they did show, so you should be able to make it over. Then I have that, this is the part. Okay. Then you do it,
Like this is the for sale.
okay, and it's,
Last picture.
Yeah.
Okay.
and it's not too much. Because usually what you can do is. So when you go to the widget, for my listings, you look at the negative counters. And we're going to click on them. And this is going to show you where, you know, let's look at this in the book, so that we can see some of it. We're a little more, okay? Yeah. Because this is just a little bit different. But that is good to know that you already know what you're listing and matrix. Okay, let's go ahead and pop back over to contacts. I think I'm going to tell you everything about contacts. And then obviously you can come in here and search by contacts. Any of these fields, if you hover over them, it's going to search for you or reconfigure and put them in different order. So kind of like most spreadsheet work. All right, next tab, my listings, we just kind of briefly talked about that. If you do have a listing, you will be able to see them here. If you create a CNA, it's gonna be housed under my CNA. You can link it to your client, so there's two ways you can see a CNA. You can go to all of your CNAs, or you can go back to that contact card and look at that client's CNAs. But any CNA created is saved here. These are pretty self-explanatory. Any email in the system is housed here. So remember, we saw it under each contact. Well, for you, any email that you send out, you're going to be able to see under the email, the same with auto emails. All of them are gonna be here. Your saved searches are gonna be here. So like I said, anything that you create, that you make, you can find in your matrix. And if you need to access them again, you can. You can have as many saved searches as you want. If you want to display them on your dashboard, you can display up to 10. And then the cards, we talked about cards. So again, everything is created here, you can access them, you can do with them what you need. And then we're back to my information, we did the shortcuts to get to that information. Remember when we first started all of this, I told you to go to the settings page and then hit my information. I didn't tell you if you actually have a shortcut because I wanted you to learn the settings button first. But you do have a shortcut under my matrix. Okay, our next time is search. We're gonna wait on search because we're talking a little bit more about search after lunch. Let's just pop in that stats real quick to show you the stats button. And this is where you can come in and look for information. The way that we use stats, because again, I'm the type person that I love data and I love for somebody else to go through the data and I love for them to tell me what I need to know. I am not the person that loves to just research and find things, but I like that the system gives you the ability to do it if you want to. But bare bones way that you can use stats is you can use any of our preset reports. You can come in here and choose one. So let's say that you want to see the original price versus sold price. So you click the button, then you whittle down your information. Let's say I just want it with residential and I want it for 4-bedroom homes. And I want it, you know, in the city of Gary. And let's try. And so here we can see the original price versus the closed price. I liked it better when the closed prices were taller than the original price. That's no fun. Let's go back a couple of years and use that. If you don't like the graph form, or the chart form, you can hit the data button right here, and it's going to give you the actual numbers. And for those of you who love data and you love to manipulate it, you can scroll on down and you see the export as CSV. You can export this information to a CSV file, then load it into your favorite spreadsheet program and have fun. Do what you want with it. So the other option we have is the customize button. When you can customize search, you get to use your own time frame. You can do it for whatever you want. Let's do household. And let's say I want to know number of new listings. And we're going to check. Now this one, I'm going to do a chart. I'm going to hit the chart button. So now I can see the number of new listings. Well, it's still doing, you notice I marked the second tab. So the first one is number of new listings. The second criteria is closed price. So that's the green one. And again, you can get just that. It's here for you to use with what you need. My biggest tip on this, the way I use it, is when I wrote a newsletter, I would come in here to look for information or create information. The next thing I would do is if I was going to an event, a party, or whatever, and I knew people were going to talk to me about real estate, I would try to find a couple of facts. So I could say, well, did you know our closed prices dropped you know, whatever. You sound really good at parties when you have like some stats to throw out there, and really, don't make them up, but you know, have real true facts. Just say that you are a professional, and all you do is to go over the stats. Okay, let's go back to let's talk a little bit about, the C bar. And remember I told you to hit that little question mark? It tells you all the information. I'm gonna go a little bit bigger. You can see it. I think this is the best way to describe it. C bar is like shorthand. You can go ahead and type it yourself. You can save it from a search and then type it. So whenever, and it's gonna make more sense if we do look at a search. So let's go ahead and look at a search real quick. So I'm gonna go into search. Oh, I'm gonna go. I'm keeping it classic. So whenever you have a search that you create, like we're gonna do, let's say, 4 bedrooms, 4+ bedrooms, 3+ bathrooms. We're gonna take off that pending. One of the questions earlier was how can I customize this page to where pending doesn't pop up automatically? I need to check on that. I don't know. Well, you guys might know, is that like a preset that you chose? Okay, can they come in and take that off? I don't think that's a question.
If Matrix gives the capability to customize your home.
Okay, so that's what I need to find out. So this is the preset from your MLS. And then let's say our price range is going to be 730. We're gonna do that results. Okay. No properties found, but do you see how there's now a code in the people are residential price that?
It's just because you had put free for half baths, not full baths. It would have found.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad you're paying closer attention to my searches than I am here. Okay. The other two, I backed out and now my criteria is gone. One friendly little button here is the recent searches button. It's gonna keep a list of everything that you've been doing. So if you accidentally go back out and you're like, oh crap, where was that thing I did like 3 times ago? Use your recent searches button here on the right hand side. When you click on that, it's going to be forever. Now, it doesn't say permanently, this isn't here for forever, but at least you're in refresh, maybe even a day or two. I'm not exactly sure what the top frame is to get people in there, but it's a fast way to go back to one of the things that you were looking at. So we've already seen that one here, one we're looking at, Market Watch earlier today. So it's just a kind of little button there that you can use. I don't know about that, we're talking about searches. We're talking about the full labs for that. Oh, yeah, the keyboard, that's what I was checking. It's just like, oh, we're talking about it. So let me go back to this one. This one. And then let's go back to the criteria. That's what it is. I wanted to do it here. Yes. And I'm gonna change this to this. Whenever you're in Matrix, you have ranges that you can work within, these little question marks. I click on that. It's gonna explain what those ranges are. So if you, for bedrooms, bathrooms, if you want the exact number, you type in the exact number. If you want that number and more, you're gonna put the number plus. That number and less, the number minus. Or the range, 3 to 4, 5 to 6. And if you ever forget, just put a little question mark and it will remind you. Okay, so now we can see the results. And we're gonna see that formula written in a C bar. So once you're used to the formulas, you can come in and instead of going through that process that I just did on our search page, you can come in and type this exact information on the C bar. So meaning I came into the system, I want to look at residential, active, price 500 to 600 with 5 bedrooms. If it doesn't understand it, it'll tell you. You tell it, I don't.
You put a dollar sign before buying.
It's supposed to know what I want it to do. Why doesn't it read my lines? There we go. It makes sense. Now, if you wanted to go beyond this, and I'll show you just a quick step, and save this little tidbit, you can go under save. Oh. Well, that is weird. Okay. Go under save. And check new speed portion. So now what it's going to do, it's gonna save that shortcut, and you get to create a name. All right, test. And save. That's always gonna be there. Now when I come in, let's say I come in the next day, I want to see the results. I'm gonna do my. I didn't know. What did I make it?
Warren test, yes.
Better than going.
There's no T on test.
Yeah. Gosh, y'all, I'm really having to do this stuff. See,
That's what I think.
is that what it is? Yeah. Now, if you forget what you named it, another thing. You can go to. Where did it go? Oh, wait, this is the tricky part. This is where you're gonna go to it. We go to settings. Speed water coordinates. Okay. And here's all of them great. Oh, there it is. Wonderful view. So, you can get to it that way here. So if you never forget, you can go find them. Notice that I have a little called Texas. See what that one. Oh, now it's taking back to new search. Anyway, you kind of get the idea. Sometimes research things. I like to stick to the classic first, just to show how it works. You kind of get the idea of work. You tell I didn't use people a whole lot. Some people love it, some people hate it. My brain just does not compute with Speedboard for some reason, and, but it's a great tool if you want to use it. I do like this, that you can save those, Speedboard shortcuts, especially for searches that you use a lot. I think that's very handy. Okay, so where are we on? It is then thousand hours. Are you all ready for it?
Yeah.
Okay, why don't we take a quick little 10-minute break? So we have here at 11:20, and then we'll finish up with how I you guys ask questions.
Saying that then if something's not in MLS and it was just one of those tax, yeah, and it was sold that way and it's not gonna be in MLS because it might have been a FISBO, whatever,
Right.
that this is where you get those.
You can get it that way. You can also get it this way. If you go to Realist.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I should grab the address.
It was Ridge Road and Raleigh that I didn't.
Because in Realist. Let's just do a quick search. Now y'all know my name. Oh, look, my dad's name is John. That's not him, but let's pretend that, so here we're gonna pull up this property. And we have comparables. And again, I'm gonna Realist right now, I'm doing comparables. Now, sometimes you will see that they don't match exactly. Why that is, I don't know. But here in these comparables is where all of these are looking like they have been in MLS, but because Realist is looking for deed changes, not just MLS status, it's going to pull when a deed was changed. That's gonna be your alert to that market, that property is a low market. Okay, and I'm trying to find an example here. See one, because most of these were all in the office. But yes, okay, if that helps. So back to over here in Matrix. This is, I wanted to show you this just so that you could see, this is one way to start doing a CNA. We started with our subject property. We pulled in the suggested comps. I'm going to look for just sold comps. So I'm going to highlight my solds, and I'm doing that only because that's what I did in the CMA. I did something else with actors, but that's just what I have to do. And but you can click whatever you want, and then you're gonna hit the Create CMA button. The Create CMA button will take you to what we call our CMA wizard. There's different ways to get to the CMA wizard. So we're going at it by starting with the subject property. We grab some comps. Now we're in our CMA wizard. We can connect it to a client. We can give a description. And then we just start going through the CMA wizards. The next page is pages. The first time you ever come in and do this, I suggest including every single page. Because you don't have to, but it gives you a great idea of what the system can do. So now I've selected available pages and I've put them in there. If I want to delete some of them, I can. If you want to upload your own pages, let's say you have a webinar, let's say you have other listing documents that you included in a listing presentation, and you want the CMA in there, you can load those in your page. Select the pages that you want, and then you're going to select your subject property. We've already selected our subject property because we started from it. You can come in and type your own subject property if you want. You can go ahead and see where it says fill from search. You can search for something. The next tab is your cover page. We kind of talked about setting up that cover information earlier. If you wanted to edit it, this is what you could. All of this information is editable. If you didn't have a photo, you could upload it. And then we're going to talk about comparables. These are the comparables that we chose. These are, now, see how I have these highlighted? If I were to exit, it's going to remove what I have highlighted. I don't want it to do that. I don't know. Usually it doesn't recover that. So let's take these off. If you had other comps that you wanted to add, you could. You could add from a listing and talk about carts. If you had some saved in a cart, you could go ahead and pull in here at this point. If you wanted to check and look at on the map, this is just another way to double check them, see if it's empty. It's gonna, now you can see where everything is listed on the map. And then this is my favorite button, the adjustment button. Because this is where it will do the math for you. When I first started out in the business, I didn't know about the CMA wizard in here. So I did everything in cloud CMA. I don't know if it's always that way. I mean, I was having to tally the math times units, and I didn't like it. So I came here and there's this adjustment button. So you can come in and make adjustments for that whole thing. Let's pretend, I'm just totally making up numbers here, that in this area, at $5,000 is a normal amount adjusted per bedroom. Well, it's not gonna make any changes because they're all 5 bedrooms. Let's say for bathrooms, it's a $10,000 adjustment. Whatever is customary in your area. This is where you need to be friends with a appraiser. You need to know, what are common adjustments in your area for different price things. Today, I'm making that number up, but I'm just showing you how you can use the system to do that. Let's say that bathroom half-bath adjustments are $5,000. It's doing the math for you. You just continue on making whatever adjustments that you need. This one I use all the time. Let's say there's a $75 difference amount per square footage. Your bill, let's say it's $1,000. My appraiser had charts that he gave to us, which was awesome, that we could use when we made our adjustments, so we knew how to make, accurate adjustments based on appraisal information. And then you get pricing. So you notice it didn't make an adjustment for all fields. There are some things that it won't do. So then you're going to get your results in a range. So you've got your lows to your highs and your compliments, and then your adjusted price. And then we're going to hit finish. And we're going to use some things. It's gonna take it a minute to load, because it's kind of a big file. The other way, while this is loading, I'll just tell you the other way you can do it, and this is the real way I would always do it to be made. I found my subject property, I did my own search based on elementary school. I lived in a highly suburban area, that's just the clientele that I dealt with, that's what I worked with. Well, okay, let me back up. I did my search, I lived in the neighborhood first, then I did elementary school zone, then I started looking for, what comps are most like my subject property. I found those comps, then I would go to CMA Wizard, and I did the exact same steps I did. The CMA, it will walk me through how to do it. And then in a minute, it will present you with, with one of the. Does that help you on how to do the CMA?
Yeah, it sure does. Now, there was, obviously, I haven't navigated this yet. There are a lot more comp categories and bathrooms and.
Right, and that's where the adjustments that you saw me do, that's how your system is configured for adjustments.
Okay,
If you wanted to change anything, back at the very beginning under subject, there was a little bit of, where you can customize. I did find for the most part that the comps that are allowed were the big ones that made sense in pricing. You can always come in and adjust it more manually.
you need to add criteria for adjustment.
Right, you can't like, you can not really add it, pretty much what you see for those adjustments is what you get. What I mean more is, and I can show you here on the paper, like, let's say that, I'm gonna scroll down to, so this is like a normal price adjustment page, so we've got our subject, and we have two of the comps. What I would do if I felt like I needed to make further adjustments, I would come in here and I actually would handwrite them so that my seller could see, oh, she's added this in, or, there was something that made a difference. I would come in and do that. I would say that happened very little because of what adjustments I was able to make worked for me in how I was doing business. Now, that just happened to be because I worked in a highly suburban area and there were easy comps, in all honesty. Like, if you have hard comps, I think it's a little bit of a different ballgame. This was my favorite pages to use with clients. Here's an example too of where those headers come in that we talked about. My clients could very easily look at this and I would say, okay, based on time, condition, if your house were just like these houses, you could expect to sell your house with these adjusted prices. So you would get the range and then we would start having those conversations. But I was able to do this in what? Less than 10 minutes. So it really saved a ton of time in a way to present the data to my clients in a way they could understand, in a way that I could explain it. I did not use all of these pages. That's why my recommendation, I'm going to try to scroll slowly, would be the very first time you do one, use every single page, see what you like, do you understand it, can you explain it to your client, use what you want. Take out what would be overload for your client. You're gonna have some clients that want every single page. You're gonna have some clients that want a summary page, no more. You're the agent, you get to be the one who figures out the communications and how to get it to them. We want to give you as much information as we can so that you can then give it to your client in the way that you do it. So now you can kind of see, here's about how much property. It kind of gives it to you. So lots of information that can be used in this scenario. This is where my ADD can begin. I'll start looking at the properties and concentrating. So you can see lots and lots and lots of information. And then we even add, there's so much stuff here to use. Okay. So that's the easiest way I think to get started on the CMA. However, let's say that you're coming at it from different ways. You get back to the dashboard. And you maybe start with comps. So I'm just going to grab some results. So let's say that I've got my comps, and I'm going to choose these as my comps. And I can start with, and I can hit CMA. And it's gonna take me to the CMA, and I can start the whole process.
Does it always give you 20 comps?
It will do that when you hit that magic button. So the way I got to these results right here is I just grabbed, for my favorite search here, I just grabbed the search. So one of the things that I love about Matrix is once you kind of get the bare bones of like, hey, here's a criteria, or here's a result page. I can get to this result page because I made search. I can get to this result page because I have a saved search. You know, once you kind of get in the flow, then you're like, okay, I'm just grabbing results, and now I'm gonna do something different with it. It's almost like little blocks of information, and that's how it works in my mind, you tag it together. But the only way that you get those 20 is when you hit that little magic button.
But I mean, is it always 20 or there?
20 or less, if no, yeah, 20 or less. Yes, ma'am.
So I went about this a slightly different way, but then I don't think I did myself a favor. But to start out with my CMA, you know, typically you're doing them from a property that is not currently on the market.
Right.
And that's your subject. So I went and added my subject. But then how do I add the comparables after you add your subject property?
Yeah, that can get a little tricky.
Okay.
So what I would recommend doing is, and this is how my brain works, in all honesty, like if I knew I was gonna do it that way, I would have my subject account set to the side, and then I would find my comps. I can throw them into a cart so that they're waiting for me, and I can grab from that cart. Or I can do what I've done here and get my subject, and then I can, let me show you what I'm talking about. So let's say that I'm gonna use these for a CMA. I can either throw them into a cart, so I'm gonna make it a new cart and call it comps for today. And I can tag it to a contact if I needed to. The other thing I could do, so now those are in a cart waiting for me. Or I could take those comps that I have found and, oops. And go back to actions. And I'm gonna do this in a, with, and take me to the wizard. I can go through that whole process. Here. I'm just gonna grab a couple, and then when I get to subject, you've got a couple of choices here. You could enter all your subject stuff manually if you want. That's option 1. You could fill from a search, which would be option 2. If you knew the old MLS number, let's say that it had been in the system before, you could search for it that way. You could search this way. There's different ways that you can search for it. Or you could look for it in the tax roll. That's probably one of the more common ways. So you could come in and find it in the tax rolls, select that result. I don't know what y'all's area, they know what to type in to actually put in the result. But this is how I did a lot of times. If it wasn't already in the system from a past listing, I would find it in the tax rolls, grab that listing, and then it would bring it in as my subject. Worst case scenario is you just have to fill it in. And that could happen if there's no record of it. Well, it should be in the tax rolls. You know, but that's the worst case scenario. And then this is the area that I was talking about. If you wanted to add other adjustable things, you could type them in here. Like maybe you want to make sure that you're adjusting for a pool. Maybe your property has like a connected mother-in-law, something that said you were subject property apart, but you would make sure that you address an adjustment. You can put in as adjustment if you like to know what's in. Does that answer your question?
So you've added, let's say you added your subject, because I went to tax records and added mine.
Okay,
Then you go to comparables.
and now we're to comp, and so now, hold on. Okay, so now we're to comps. These are already here because I had selected them and hit the CMA button. If I hadn't done that, let's just say we start from scratch. Add new CNA. I'm gonna do the same process. It always brings me to my CNA wizard. I'm gonna start with my person's name. The second step is always gonna be pages. The third step is gonna be subject. And we can talk about that. Then comparables, if I hadn't brought them in already, this is where I would go to that cart and grab them.
Okay.
Because I have already, and then you can whatever, what was my cart saying today?
Something to the comps, on the very top.
There it is. But you can see you can access any of your cards. And this is where to me, the CMA stuff starts to get kind of personal in how do you choose the right comp? Where is that information? You know, how do you know it's a good comp? And, I mean, early in my real estate career, I think I went to like I don't know how many CMA classes. Every single time it was something different. Everybody does them so differently. Everybody chooses the information a little bit differently. We tend to always get a similar result, which I find amazing, even though we kind of go about it in a different way. What we can do here in Matrix is we have the CMA wizard to help you input that information. It's going to format those pages for you, hopefully in a quick way to help save you time. So you're not spending hours doing it all by hand. Any other questions on the CMA?
You can choose a list and bring them in. Can you also add more from one to add from that?
Right, add to this, like,
I mean,
this
there's
is-
a whole bunch of different methods you use for that. Perfect.
And again, it's almost just a personal choice of how you like to find your prompts and how you want to bring them in. We all kind of have, our brains work in different ways to get that information. Hopefully within Matrix, you can see we're giving you different avenues that you can use that information.
But if you're only a member of like a triangle MLS, you could go to add from tax rolls to get the ones that sold through the other MLS.
Yes, you should be able to do that because your tax system is statewide.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So you can grab those other ones and just. But they're gonna fall down. Perfect.
All right, any other questions about CNAs? Anything else you would like to see where you would use Matrix the most? Or questions? Alright, well, why don't I go ahead and let's go ahead and start talking about search.
So this is off topic, but
Uh-huh.
how do you get into realist for Matrix?
Oh, let me show you. There's different options. So one way is to just come to your tax button, hit realist. Cool. When you do it this way, you're gonna get to your realist dashboard. On your realist dashboard, you can customize it, you can select your county, all that kind of good stuff. Make it your own. If you want to do a search in realist, then you're just gonna hit the search button. And that's what I did just a minute ago. So now you can do, you can search by address, you can search by state, MLS number, whatever. I typed in, I always like to type in my baby name to see, you know, I might have family. So that's how I got those results. And then from here, you can select. But even within Realist, you could come in, if you wanted to, with Realist, you could just draw on that. And get, oh, I mean, Realist has a lot of information, so you don't necessarily have to do it as much. So you can come in here and search that way. So within Realist, there's all sorts of different ways that you can search. So that's one way to get to Realist. The other way to get to Realist is if you're on a listing. And we're just going to this new listing here, we have this little tax button. If you hit the little tax button, it's like, I'm from Texas, so of course I always think this is Texas, not Texas. But it's going to take you to Realist. It's going to bypass the dashboard. And take you directly to the listing page for that property. Couple of things while we're on here that I like to point out. This is an active listing that we're looking at, but you can see the information that you're gonna find about this property. But one of my favorite buttons right here
with this sales score indicator, this is a real product. You can only use this in realist. What this does is it's telling you that this property, we think within the next 6 months, is a high chance that it's gonna sell. Well, I think they're right, because it's on the market right now. You know, you can search by sales score indicator. So let's say you're doing an open house, and you're looking at a particular area, and you want to send information to other residents in that area, but it's a large, you know, your budget can only go so far, you want to send it to 50 people. Well, send it to the 50 people with the highest sales score, because they're the ones who are most likely going to sell next. Just another little tool that we have in here, and that's like, that gets deeper into the realist ones here. But let's say that you're looking at, maybe this is going to be an investment property. We're going to use what we think it's going to rent for. You know, some more information here within a realist. You can always link back to the listing information. So you see how we have an MLS number. If I click on that, now it's going to take me back to Matrix, and I'm going to see the information in Matrix connected to that house. So we have a canceled listing, so I can scroll through and look at that canceled listing, find out whatever information it is that I'm wanting to see. And we also have sold listing. And again, I can read through whatever information, see what the data is. Okay, so that's kind of where Matrix and Realist connect. And always pay attention to your tabs at the top. I'm in Matrix here. When I go back to Realist, I'm back into the Realist setting. On Realist, we talked about the comps. I'm going to hit that comparables button. And there's some of these comparables. To make it bigger, so I can see more, just gonna drag that up. Anytime in Realist, you'll see sometimes it will say tax, and it'll say MLS. Realist isn't going to tell you which one is right. It's gonna tell you this result came from the tax records, this result came from the MLS records, they are different. If it's the same information, like right here, it's not gonna tell you the source. So if you're ever wondering, why does sometimes it say tax MLS and sometimes it doesn't? Anytime that it doesn't have the listing, it means that they were in agreement of the number. If you see two different numbers, it's telling you which one's it. So again, as an agent, your due diligence is to.
So that difference could be the broker did not report a price reduction or did not report the final sale number.
You see it more, in all honesty, you see it more like with size and bedrooms. It could be like spec plans were submitted to the city and it really didn't get built that way. Or how many times have we had a remeasure of a property and we have that appraisal number for the square footage and we put that number in the MLS. The one with smaller square footage to stay in the tax record, because that's what you're paying taxes on. So we probably, that's usually where you see it more in those instances. I just wanted you to know why you see two different sources there. I was looking to see if I could see a result that wasn't connected to the MLS, but I'm not. But because we're talking about the deed change, we were looking at the MLS information. This is the other thing that Realist has is, you know, you see your sale history, you see the mortgage history, you see the foreclosure. But it had an off-market listing, you would see the sale change even though it was outside of the MLS. All right, so that's the other way that you can get to Realist. Those are the two easiest ways to either go from a particular listing by hitting the tax button or just going straight under the tax button to Realist taxes. And there's great videos on My Matrix that my friend Brent does on Realist. He is our Realist expert. He can tell us anything and everything about Realist in his sleep. I always joke, that's my we have probably should record this. It's boring to me. Because again, I think I've established I'm not one who dives into that deep data. I think it's amazing that it's there. I think it's amazing that you can access it and you can use it.
Probably it's wonderful. Maybe that's why I'm teaching you how to use this on not real estate anymore. I don't know. Okay, any other questions or, things that you'd like to make sure you know that you can do in Matrix? I mean, what do y'all think so far, of what you're seeing? Hopefully you like it. Okay, we've got just a few minutes before we break for lunch. And then when we come back after lunch, we're gonna really talk about searching and that kind of thing. I do want to make sure, because when you get Matrix, you get MLS Touch, which is our app, and you get Realist, and you get One Home. So while I have a minute, I just want to remind you, when you're working in Matrix and you pull up your app, any of your saved searches that you made in Matrix, you can see in your app. Any of your contacts that you have in Matrix, you can see in your app. Any of your cards that you've made for a client, you can access those in your app as well. So those do work together. And then with One Home, we'll see this a little bit more when we do the contact or do searches. But I wanted to make sure you did see this one button. I'm gonna go back to Rose Jean. And I'm gonna go to her auto email results. Okay, so what I'm looking at now is I've gone to her contact. I want to look at the emails that I have as an auto search for her. This one is homes in the 900s. You see this button right here where it says open in One Home? Because the thing where we have seen that tends to be the most confusing for agents is they want to get into One Home and work. Oh, so that's so sad. We don't work in One Home, we work in Matrix as an agent. Our clients see everything in One Home. Okay, let me go on another one. Let's see if there's any listeners on here. But we do have the ability, while we're in Matrix, to kind of hover over our client's One Home account. So what I'm in right now is called Agent Preview Mode. And it says you're in Agent Preview Mode. So I'm able to come in here and see what my client sees. This can be very helpful if your client calls and asks you questions and they're looking at their screen. You can say, hey, give me a second, let me get into it, and I can look with you. That's all you can do, is you can look. I mean, you can look, and you can look at the pictures, but you can't leave notes, because you're in Agent Preview Mode. You can't mark it as a favorite. You can't do anything for your client. But I think it's a good tool so that you know that you can see from their view. You also can see the same information just by looking at the search. So that was one of the penny results, right? Oh, well, no, I don't know why I should have done. So now I'm seeing the results in my area. So I always just like to remind agents, you don't go to One Home to do your work. You do your work in Matrix, your clients see it. Yes, ma'am.
Can I mark it from as a favorite from the Matrix side?
No. For your client?
Yeah, sometimes, we're communicating and, a lot of times by what they're marking or what I'm marking
Right.
as a favorite.
You're right. That would be nice if we did. But if we, you know what, if you see this, well, don't call me. I need to write that down as a suggestion. Because that's a great, anytime you have suggestions, let us know. We want to know like how we can make this better, how we can make it work. But that would be a good suggestion. Now, what you can do when you're in Agent Preview Mode, let me get back to that. As you could do it this way, it gets a little bit convoluted. Okay, so we're gonna go over here to One Home. When you're in Agent Preview Mode, I actually can show you a great example, but I'm gonna kind of walk you through that. You see where it says sign in. When you sign in Agent Mode of One Home, your results are gonna pop up. You're gonna see little cards for every single one of your clients in Matrix. And so you can just click on your client, you can see their houses, you can mark agent choice, and it's a gold star. Then that agent choice will show up on their One Home side that you would like. Now, that's that's coming to Matrix soon. Soon you'll be able to make those agent choices within Matrix, it's just not set up yet. But that is kind of a roundabout way that you can do it. The market of faith. Okay, so we're kind of near the end of the calendar. I hope I haven't plagiarized over too much, but hopefully you've seen a good look at how Matrix getting started. We'll take a break for lunch, come back at 1. We're gonna dive into how to do searches, what to do with searches, how to set up some displays that are custom, so that when you're using the searches, it's something that you like. And then hopefully that'll get you started on all the basics of Matrix and you out and have a great week and lots of content for you. Sound good? Yep. Okay, awesome. Thank you all.